It's not a war that's ending. It's a window that's closing. And that window was never about Iran and Israel. It was about repositioning power and influence in Middle East. And guess what? Among all this recalibration, Pakistan just missed the moment as usual. Welcome to Fourth Pillar Post, weekly dosage of Pakistani menace. Let's begin at the global front, because that's where the real decisions are being made. Trump claimed he ended the war. Iran applauded. Israel fumed. America has stuttered now. And while the world is watching, Iran was being attacked at the same time. We were standing in the corner, confused and clapping, literally clapping, nominating Trump for Peace Prize. But now with the ceasefire, this isn't peace. It's repositioning Middle East by mistake or by plan. Trump's so-called strike on Iran's nuclear infrastructure turned out to be theatrical. Iran already moved its uranium. Then they retaliated. And Trump said, thank you. Israeli newspapers whispered ceasefire about Gaza. But Netanyahu isn't done yet, which is ironical. But because with Netanyahu in power, things can go sideways anytime. He still believes Iran can be crippled, and he wants America's backing. Meanwhile, Iran walks out of IAEA protocols and starts rebuilding its nuclear capability again, and threatens to push out of the NPT. So what's really happening? A slow, calibrated push for regime change? Slow one, not a war to win a territory, and not by bombarding the people in power in Iran, but to rearrange the region. Iran seems to be the centerpiece of all that. And we being the neighbors, next in line, logic suggests Pakistan at this moment is the sideboard being carved to fit the new furniture in Middle East. And at the America's behest, it may sound delusional, but that's how it actually is. Because if regime change happens in Iran, we will not be spared. And not because we are next in line for punishment, but because we will be needed to provide cover, to offer logistics, to host influence, or to be useful to America. That's why we are already being remodeled, not removed, just redesigned. This remodeling has already begun in our country, and it starts with the optics. Our biggest foreign policy contribution this year was applauding Trump for the ceasefire that never happened because India refuses to accept. Our National Security Council condemned Israel, but conveniently left out America's role in attack on Iran. Why? Because we are terrified for calling out the one power we still seek approval from. And what did all of that achieve? Nothing, except for alienating China and Iran, two players who actually have a plan for this region, because they saw our reaction, they saw our eagerness to submit, and our celebration of subservience. And they have definitely taken notes, which will be visible when all of this dust will settle. So even if Israel is cornered and Iran survives, or Iran is rebuilding, we have already blown our cover. And in the days ahead, when alliances solidify and the spheres of influence harden, we won't be picked because of loyalty. We will be used because of pliability. Now let's come home and see how this geopolitical desperation is being converted into legal manipulation at home. The 27th Amendment is no longer a rumor, thanks to Supreme Court. It's legal machinery for systematic redesign. And it's not just about field marshal title anymore. It's about giving constitutional cover to an unelected power bloc. It's about structuring a government where uniforms govern and civilians obey, and where even the obedience is legally binding. We've already seen the judiciary fall in line. The reserved seats verdict was shameless. A 7-judge bench is ruling against an 8-judge judgment. The message is clear: don't fight the script. And here's where the internal fear begins. People's Party is silent, not because they support this verdict, but because they have realized what comes next. If this system stabilizes, if reserve seats are allocated to government, as just like that, Pakistan People's Party may like it, but in the future, Pakistan People's Party becomes irrelevant. Their influence in Sindh can be eroded. The bargaining power in the center may minimize. The more this amendment structure is normalized, the less need there is for political partners. And People's Party knows this. If they don't move carefully, they'll be next to be absorbed or discarded. Meanwhile, the government pats itself on the back of creating stability. But it's not stability at all, it's sedition. The judiciary isn't neutral. Parliament is hollow and the executive is ceremonial. And behind it all stands the growing shadow of militarized, legalized, hybrid state, blessed by American praise and protected by domestic fear. In the middle of all this, where is the opposition, the great Imran Khan? He's quiet, not out of strategy obviously, but necessity. He knows he's cornered. The every path is a trap in front of him. If he starts a movement, it will fizzle out. The people aren't ready. If he negotiates a deal right now, it will be worse than 2018. If he remains vocal, he will accelerate his own irrelevance. So what does he do? He'll wait. Because timing now is everything. The deal terms are unfavorable. The state is too desperate. The space is too narrow. So his only hope is that this desperation turns into overreach. That's the only hope. That this 27th Amendment triggers backlash among the powerful circles. That this constitutional cover for the Field Marshal or an establishment-led council creates cracks internally or internationally. See, that's not power. That's just a survival game. Because this isn't just about domestic politics anymore. If regime change succeeds in Iran, Pakistan's current structure will not be left untouched. America will want Pakistan that can act against Iran, not just with it. And to ensure that, they will need a setup here that doesn't ask questions. Or if this war comes back, Pakistan will be forced to choose side again, which will cause backlash as usual, even if we have martial law in Pakistan, because Iran is not Afghanistan. And thirdly, who's to say Trump will change its stance? Because in his mind, he is looking for Abraham Accord to move forward, which seems impossible considering Iran's dumb plan about Gaza being governed by 4 states. Question is, without 2-state solution, can Abraham Accord move forward? Even if Saudis accept it, will Iran accept it after its newfound power in the region? So Trump may be under the influence, believe that this weak system in Pakistan right now can be beneficial for the new Middle East. He doesn't know we are not that smart. That's the real reason for all this. The optics, the amendments, the praise for Trump, this staged applause. We are being redesigned to be operational, not democratic, not autonomous, just useful. And America, as usual, is playing both sides. On one hand, it praises our generals. On the other hand, it's hosting transnational repression hearings with Ahmad Noorani in place. One day, Pakistan is key partner for US. The next day, somebody from Congress will tweet about free Imran Khan. This is not diplomacy, this is leverage building. And we are making it easy for them. And what China is seeing among all this, that Pakistan, instead of standing firm, is being flexible in front of America. Weak, replaceable. Which is why China may start to shift its tilt from Islamabad to Iran. Because, frankly, Iran, for all its flaws, stands its ground. We, on the other hand, are still busy choosing sides, while the sides have already chosen their pieces. We are a country that boasts of a strategic depth, but can't hold a principal position for more than 72 hours. We talk about sovereignty, then release in statements so neutered Those statements seem insult to diplomacy. We claim neutrality, then align ourselves before even the world asks us to. And when we celebrate praise from the man like Trump, a man whose every conflict resolution has so far ended in disaster. Gaza, ceasefire followed by genocide. Ukraine, frozen. Iran, headed for a deeper war. Every time Trump says peace, someone else prepares for the war. So where does all this lead? We are heading towards a restructured Middle East, where Israel will eventually have to face the two-state question, where Iran will rise again, either through resistance or through negotiations, where China will anchor influence in Tehran, and Russia may play the silent enabler. And Pakistan, being on the border with all this, we are about to become the buffer zone, confused and at the behest of unreliable man Trump, not by choice but by design. And if anyone thinks that this is sustainable, like 2035 and 10 years and all this plan, let me remind you, the last time a country was used as a staging ground in someone else's war, it took 2 decades, almost tens of thousands of lives, and destroyed an economy to even begin recovering. So ask yourself, is this how we want to matter to the world? Do we want to exist as a cautionary tale or as a country with a spine? Because right now the world is shifting, and while all of this, Iran is rebuilding, Israel is recalculating, America is repositioning, talking about its relevance in Middle East, and we are relying on that country whose relevance is decreasing in Middle East. Pakistan is busy proving that power without thought is just noise. And right now, we are deafening ourselves with all our steps just to take a full control for a while.